The Batgirl movie has been cancelled by the new CEO of Warner Brothers, David Zasloff, and it will not be released in theaters or even HBO Max. Now, why did it get cancelled? Well, apparently he saw the movie and thought it was worth taking a $90 million loss rather than releasing it. The film that was supposed to make Batgirl the DCEU's replacement Batman, and the Flash movie was meant to make Supergirl the replacement for Henry Cavill's Superman, and then the new Trinity was going to be Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and Batgirl, with Michael Keaton playing the Nick Fury role. Yup, that is what Warner Brothers were going to do going forward with the DCEU, and not only did we hate it, but so did the new CEO David Zasloff, as when he was slowly taking his position as CEO, he apparently was very mad that the Warner Brothers executives had shelved Superman, a very popular IP, so very early on, he said that the future of DC is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, the Trinity. And well, this Batgirl movie completely contradicted that, and from some inside rumors I heard, Michael Keaton's Batman was only going to have a cameo in a flashback scene where we saw Barbara's mother die, and I actually heard that Barbara was going to belittle him and talk down to him like strong female characters do in woke Hollywood, and she was going to become Batgirl and be the new Batman going forward. So as well as going against the new CEO's plans, it also probably wasn't even a very good movie. I mean, Steven from Collider recently tweeted, spoke to people that saw Batgirl and they said it was a huge disappointment. Also that the costumes looked cheap, especially Keaton's Batman costume. I figured Warner Brothers would dump it on HBO Max, but looks like we'll never see it. Now of course, I am sad for the cast, crew, and directors of this movie, especially Brendan Fraser as Firefly, as I hear he actually did a very good job. I am actually glad that it got cancelled though. Now don't get me wrong, I would genuinely like to see a great Batgirl movie, but not like this. I love the characters of Batgirl and Supergirl, but they can never replace Batman and Superman. They are sidekicks, and that's not a bad thing, people love them for that. And I wouldn't want to see Batgirl replace Batman any more than I would want to see Robin replace him. This is the Bat family, and I don't mind seeing them eventually come into the fold, but to have them straight up replace Batman and talk down to him like these woke female characters do, that method was just downright wrong and misguided. And it is not the future that any of us want for the DC movies, so I am glad that they cancelled it. Now of course, this also begs the question, what else will get cancelled from the DC slate? You can make an argument for most of these, but the main one that we are all looking at is The Flash. David Zasloff could very well just stop this movie from happening given the constantly going controversy around it and the potential that even more bad information could come out surrounding Ezra Miller, but I personally think that given how much money they have spent on this so far and how deep into production it is, a small part of me thinks that they are going to wait it out before they decide to pull the plug. And if it's controversies that we are talking about, then look no further than Aquaman 2. While I still think that this being cancelled is also very unlikely, mainly because they just recently cast Ben Affleck to replace Michael Keaton's cameo role, and also because their biggest controversy for the movie is a very easy fix. The only thing hurting them now is that they are taking bloody forever to announce the firing of someone, especially when they announced Johnny Depp's firing almost immediately. The other reason Aquaman 2 won't get cancelled is because David Zasloff will most likely want to keep James Wan and Jason Momoa happy. Momoa because he is a bankable star, and James Wan because he is a very valuable asset to Warner Brothers with his Conjuring universe and first Aquaman movie. And the last thing he wants is for the studio to have another Christopher Nolan situation on their hands. And Shazam 2 and Black Adam are very harmless to release at this point, especially when you take into account that they just recently made an appearance at Comic-Con. Black Adam has been completed and is now locked, and they are both being produced by Dwayne Johnson's production company, so they will also want to keep Dwayne Johnson happy. I would say that the two properties that I am the most confident will stay is the Batman 2 and his HBO Max spin-offs, and Joker 2. Because Zasloff apparently wanted to make even more smaller budget standalone movies like Joker, and if he is planning on starting the DC universe again from scratch, the Batman is the perfect place to start over. I am not sure what will happen to Peacemaker though, because if the plan is to abandon the previous DCEU, then Peacemaker sure as heck is right in the middle of it. Or maybe they can just not reference the Justice League again, I don't know. So yeah, that is why I think the Batgirl movie has been cancelled and what it could mean for the rest of the DCEU. I honestly think that cancelling Batgirl was the best choice they could have made for the DCEU, because having Batgirl replace the DCEU's Batman just shows how clueless the executives at Warner Brothers are. So DC has been taken out of the woke direction they were heading towards, and Zasloff was willing to make a $90 million sacrifice to do it. And the more I reflect on it, the more I am very glad that he did that. It was the right move. So, what are your thoughts on this movie? Are you glad that the movie got cancelled, or were you happy with the female trinity that Warner Brothers were going for? Be sure to place your thoughts in the comments below.